Your seats or position yourself where you would like to listen to the mayoral candidates.
Can I sit there without being in a camera line?
I'm too short. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I'm Donna Oba with the League of Women Voters of Hawaii County and the state of Hawaii. I wanted to let you know that we had a few candidates. One got sick, one I think had transportation problems, as well as another we're hoping will show up. I did speak to their campaign manager today, but so far we're very grateful to the candidates who have shown. For more information about the candidates, the League has an online election guide called Vote 411. It's vote411.org. You put in your address and it pulls up your ballot. Candidates are asked a few questions. There's links to their websites as well as just pictures and give you an idea about them. But it's another source of information in this era of mis and disinformation that these are the words of the candidates themselves. The League never alters or edits, to sometimes our regret, the language of the candidates. So please, if you have time, it also gives you the dates. The next big date is going to be July 31 is the last day to do a paper voter registration. On the 29th, the voter service center is open, so you can vote in person if you need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, we are going to just jump right on into the second half. You guys all know the rules. You know where the bathrooms are, where the water is, and all the respect for everyone rules that we are following here. So appreciate you continuing to do that. The bios in alphabetical order. Dr. Kimo Alameda, down on the end. Dr. Alameda is a graduate of St. Joseph High School and has earned his PhD from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. He has over 25 years of executive experience in state and county government. Dr. Alameda worked under Mayors Billy Kanoy and Harry Kim as the executive of the Hawaii County Office on Aging. Most recently, Dr. Alameda led the Fentanyl Task Force and initiating the largest healthcare center merger in Big Island history. Dr. Alameda is a licensed psychologist, a popular statewide speaker on leadership and life strategies, and has committed to run for the mayor of Hawaii County in 2024. He and his late wife, Star Alameda, are the proud parents of 7 children. Kima Alameda. Next, we have Kevin Kahikina. Kahikina, correct? Kevin Kahikina is a local boy, born and raised in Hilo. He cherishes giving back to his community every year by producing local surf contests to promote the development of our island's keiki. He has provided thousands of youth with countless positive growth mindset experiences. He also humbly serves as a proud member of the Hui Ohe'e Nalu, an organization that advocates for the respect and protection of our environment, Hawaiian culture, and traditions. He takes great pride that his influence has led to significantly exceptional interactions within the community while simultaneously preserving our culture here in Hawaii. Next alphabetically, Briani Kobayashi. Briani is recognized for her commitment to the Big Island community over the last decade, and most recently awarded Hawaii's Most Admired Leader 2023 by Pacific Business News. She is the president of Hawaii Rise Foundation, general manager of SCP Hilo Hotel, and owner of Keaukaha General Store. Briani serves as chair of Hawaii Island United Way and sits on the boards of numerous organizations, including the Big Island Substance Abuse Council, Catholic Charities Hawaii, Kuikahu Malama Split, and the Hawaii Rural Health Organization. Brianni is well known in the community for the free educational workshops and cultural events her nonprofits facilitates. You wanna take that? And finally, Mayor Mitch Roth. Mitch Roth is a founding member of the Hawaii Island Visitor Aloha Society, the Community Coalition for Neighborhood Safety, Next Tech STEM Opportunities for Youth, and has helped bring the Citizens as a community emergency response teams to Hawaii Island. He is dedicated to helping young people achieve their goals. Roth is a board member of the Boys and Girls Club of the Big Island and of Camp Agape Big Island, a 4-day camp for children of incarcerated parents. He's a member of the Rotary Club of Hilo and of Hilo Exchange Club. He also volunteers with RYLA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, and in the past he served on the YMCA corporate board and an officer of Turning Point for Families. We are going to be doing the same 2 questions in the beginning that we had for county council, and then we have a lot of different questions for the mayoral candidates. So we will start with the first question, and we'll just go down the list with the first one. So, Kima Alameda, let me get to my, these are going to be 60 seconds each. Yeah. And
That's this one too.
got it. All right. Sorry. All right, Kima Alameda, what in your professional, political, or personal life are you most proud of?
Personal, political life. Okay, so personal, I'm super proud of my my family. You know, I have 7 kids, 30, 28, 26, 24, 22, 2016. And they're all, you know, well adjusted, and I think that's the hardest thing, right? For families to be connected. And so my late wife, you know, she always believed that there's no other success can compensate for failure in the home. And so I'm a home guy. So that's first. And then professionally, I mean, there's so much, right? After I got my doctorate degree, I had all kind of leadership positions in state government. But most recently, I think the fentanyl task force, I think that's big. We still have an addiction issue on the island, and addiction is the biggest dream killer. And then, of course, merging the 2 major health centers. We went from 20,000 patients to almost 40,000 patients. So once I did that, I was able to step down and now run for office. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And just moving on down the line. Okay.
How's it, everybody? I really don't know my profession. Right now, it's my first profession I jumping into, so I fresh in this game, so that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. Kahikina. Brianni Kobayashi.
Yeah, one thing that I'm very proud of in my personal life is, you know, in 2020, I was the first hotel to close on the island when COVID hit. I didn't feel it was an appropriate time to be bringing tourists here to our island, so I was the first hotel to close. And we actually opened up as a quarantine hotel. We were the only quarantine hotel on the entire island where people could stay and isolate with us up to 2 weeks for free. We partnered with civil defense, the county, the state, all types of resources to make that happen. And it was both a personal and professional accomplishment for me because I was able to take care of my community, which is very important, take care of people who couldn't afford to stay in hotels for 2 weeks at a time. And we were still able to maintain relationships with the restaurants, with local businesses, because we provided 3 meals a day at the time. And that's something that I think speaks to me and my heart. We care for our community. It's not about the money. It's not always about what we can get, but what we can give. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Ms. Roth.
Aloha. You know, there's a lot of things I'm most proud of, I think, of my children. All 3 of them are out of the house. They're all very successful right now. As far as my work life, prior to being the mayor, I was the prosecuting attorney. And as a prosecutor, I started a lot of programs that are still going on today. Citizens Emergency Response Teams, or CERTs, VASH, Visitors Aloha Society of Hawaii. I was the first community-oriented prosecutor in the state and had lots of successes, as well as, oh boy, some other programs. As mayor, you know, from where we started to where we are, we're in a much better place than when we took over 4 years ago. If you look at our budget, we came in questionable whether we were going to be able to survive. We have our highest bond rating. We've worked on a lot of different projects and actually sped things up quite significantly. So lots of things, but most proud that came out of COVID as the only island to reduce poverty, or our ALICE numbers, asset limited, income constrained, and employed.
Thank you very much. Maybe you could pass the mic down. We're going to do a lot of mic passing this session. So we're back to chemo, yeah? We're going to do this first one in row, and then we'll start alternating all over the place. So going to get crazy later. Okay, so second question. What is the biggest issue facing Hawaii County?
How much time do I have?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. You know, I think the biggest issue is hope. I think, I've been to every community. I have 4 campaign managers and I have 16 advisors. So my campaign manager for the north side is Melissa Samura, but my advisor for Kohala is Uncle Dave Fortes. And I gotta tell you that here, our kids need hope. When I did the fentanyl training at the high school, I see a lot of parents super concerned. So every community is different. So if I tell you homelessness, if I say affordable housing, if I say, wastewater, it depends. I realize being in every single community, my priority is you, right? Because every community has a different priority. So if I drop down homelessness and I drop down affordable housing and all, that might not be your priority. And that's what I learned from being one of the first to really get out there. Every community is unique. And for Kohala, it's open space, it's farming, it's our youth, it's our roads, and it's connecting with government. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to Kevin Kahikina.
For me, I think it's cost of living, because everything else is a symptom to cost of living. So we gotta just fix our cost of living and create more jobs and more farming maybe for Hawaii. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Brianna Kobayashi.
Yeah, there's so many critical issues, from housing to quality of life to homelessness to drugs, and we can talk about those things in detail later. But I think one of the biggest things that we're facing is trust in government, and we need to be more transparent. I think that these types of issues have been issues forever, and we need to have more comprehensive planning. We need to involve community more. We need to be taking the approach of listening and learning, and then taking the approach of building trust and being transparent, and then creating a really solid strategic plan and a vision board, if you will, for our county of what we'd like to see happen. And rebuilding that trust is really important to get people to believe that these things are going to happen, so that people know that these things are possible, and so that people have the trust in us to get these things done. I think rebuilding trust is really, really important, and to do something that is, with the people and for the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've been looking at probably the biggest problem is sustainability. When I say that, I mean the ability for our kids to raise their kids here in Hawaii and their kids to raise their kids in Hawaii. And probably the most important thing there is affordable housing. When we came in, there was about 1,243 affordable housing starts in our pipeline coming for the future. We now have 8,175. I look at, the time it takes for permitting. We improved our permitting time, went from the worst in the country to the best in the state. And then I think, infrastructure. Infrastructure is a huge issue that, most people don't understand how bad it is. And so we've been really focusing on infrastructure. Our parks are all falling apart. We went from a budget of $450,000 for all 302 to now $6 million to fix all of our parks. We've doubled the amount of roads that we pave in a year for county roads. So a lot of the infrastructure is really bad. I can go on about wastewater and a whole bunch of other things.
Thank you. Okay, now we are going to start the rotations in a lot of different ways. So we're starting with Kevin Kahikina for this next question. The question is regarding Mahukona. Mahukona County Park is a huge hazard. What will you do to solve issues surrounding Mahukona? And you have 60 seconds.
Maukona, we gotta fix the infrastructure of Maukona and rebuild it for the families of Kohala. Well, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Next, we have Brianna Kobayashi for that same one with 30 seconds.
Yeah, something I think is really important for us to all be aware of is that the county does have something called the Pont Commission, which works towards, the P is for public access, the O is for open spaces and for natural resources, and it's a commission, and the mayor gets to choose this commission. And these types of things are really important. 2% of our property taxes go towards this fund, and these are things that you were looking at conservation efforts. These are, oh, it's 30 seconds. These are things that the Pond Commission can really address to be aware that these are places that we need to conserve, and I would start there where there's funding. Thank you.
Thank you. And now to Ms. Roth.
So during our administration, we purchased 893 acres of punk lands at Mahu Kona. I think some of the big problems that we're dealing with is the pavilion. We actually have in this year's budget to demolish the pavilion. We're also looking at the harbor there with the crane and the swimmers and the boats. And so I know that on August 1st, we have a meeting together with the community to look at some solutions down in that area as well.
Thank you. And then down to Kimo Alameda.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so first, hats off to Tony Whittington and Ted Matsuda. I mean, they did a real good job at that access. Big round of applause for them. Awesome guys. So yeah, so Mahu Kona, I think, hey, let's continue. Support the access committee. Okay, you got two great leaders right there, right off the bat. But Mahu Kona, they need coastal protection. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next one, we're starting with Brianna Kobayashi. And this question is regarding the economy. Would you propose to diversify the county economy to make us less dependent on visitor industry?
Yes, 100%. You know, currently right now, is it still 30 seconds?
No, you get 60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We receive, good thing. We receive importing 90% of our food here. So when you go to the grocery store and you go to, you know, I went to KTA this week, it's $200. So 90% of that is $180. We need to flip that around so that the resident can afford to live here. That the person, it's not about bringing development and always bringing tourism. It's about creating a regenerative and circular economy that people can thrive here. And I really, really, truly feel that starts with food security and food sustainability and supporting our local farmers and giving them access and tools and resources so that they can thrive, so that they can do well, so that they can sell their food. Right now, government is hindering that. I don't believe we're helping it. And in order to be less dependent on other things such as tourism, we need to be dependent and bring in funding from other places. And I do see us being, we could be exporting 90% of our food, and that would change the trajectory of our future.
Thank you. And on to Ms. Roth.
So tourism is the big funds that we bring into the county. And so I don't think you can just say we're going to get rid of tourism and do anything else and do nothing. But we have to do everything together. And so we're working on, you know, making sure that we have better plans for what we're doing with tourism, but also making sure we have the jobs of the future, the STEAM jobs, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, making sure that we have connectivity, working with our farmers. So there's a lot of things that we can and we actually are doing right now in the county in this realm.
Thank you. And down to Kimo Alameda.
So our economy, so in the state, we need about $100 billion to run our economy. So tourism contributes about $20 billion, right? 400,000 jobs. Okay, we get it, it's important, but we gotta diversify. And so we need to look at other industries. So I say construction. And I gotta say this again, you know, it keeps being brought up, but I like the government that's more transparent. So currently you're hearing numbers like, hey, we went from, you know, last in the nation to first in the state with permit timeliness. Really, all counties was last. So we went from last in the nation to fourth last in the nation. That's still the best of the worst. So we gotta fix our permitting. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally,
Tourism. We gotta educate our tourism, and I'm with Timo on the construction, and everybody else on this table, everybody had good answers. I don't know what else to say.
We're getting our time from you. All right, next one is Brianna Kobayashi. Starts with this one. This is okay. Let me. We had so many. My list is all messed up now. So let's go third down now. Okay. Ooh, you can do this one then. This is totally out of order now, but we were just going to do that. All right. So Mitch Rock. What types of efforts are being made to relax building requirements in order to expedite more long-term housing?
Okay, so there's a lot of things that we're actually been working on. You know, Kimo talks about going from last in the nation to fourth last. Actually, we're better than a whole bunch of other places. And so We've done that by trying to fix a system that was broke, and we continue to fix it. Again, when we look at our affordable housing that our kids want to live in, we went from a number of 1,243 to 8,175. There's actually a dashboard you can go on. You can see where all of those places are, including right here in North Kohala. We've been working on different fixes to the system. People don't understand, we have the state law and the county laws, and so some people say, well, let's just accept what we have. Unfortunately, the state law and the county law both prohibits it, and so we've been working on fixes to the county laws, things like reducing the wind speed to the new international code. So there's a whole bunch of things, and they've actually been working. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this one goes down now to Kima Alameda. Same question, now you have 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. So there's 4 unions that county workers belong to: fire, police, UPW, HGA. I got HGA, I got UPW, and I got SHOPO. Now here, that's why I know the data. So I got colleagues that's close to the source. I gotta tell you, in permitting, there's 2,100 permits still in the queue and 1,200 complaints in 2023. We have a permitting problem, and it's no joke, right? You have 3 staff in Hilo and 2 staff in Kona. It ain't working. And this is not being transparent, and I tell you, our administration will be transparent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Gavin, Valentina.
Transparency, that's all.
Yeah, I think we need to adjust zoning laws so that we can build more multi-family units. A lot of times you see multi-generational households because cost of living is so high here in Hawaii. So, you know, my brother will live with my mom, and my mom will help take care of his kid, Keiki, and that's just the way it is. And he's a paramedic, he works 24-hour shifts, that's just the way it is. So really adjusting zoning laws to allow for this is really important. Streamlining the permitting process so that the EPIC system is epic is really important. And I think, you know, engaging with the community, having a meeting and saying, hey, let's engage all stakeholders and say, where do we see the issue?
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right. And I do this to everybody. You're all special. All right, Kima Alameda gets the first one, the first crack, 60 seconds on this one. Each candidate has spoken about affordability generally. What specific policies, programs, or steps will you champion to lower the cost of housing, food, and energy?
So if you look at your monthly expenses, right? So mine is housing. So your mortgage or rent. But after that is food, right? After that it's health. Okay, and after that is like insurance, car payments and stuff. So the county gotta look at each itemized expense and see where they can dig in. So in affordability, I'm a guy is like, hey, if you already own an acre and you want to build an additional dwelling on your property, the county should just get out of the way, right? This whole thing about, oh, it has to be connected to the house and can it have kitchen and can it be bigger than 500 square feet? That's ridiculous. I got 7 kids and I gotta tell you, they would like to move out if they could afford it. But there's no place to go. But they can go on my property because materials for one house not gonna get cheaper, labor not gonna get cheaper. So the only variable we can play with is land. So if you already own land, the county should get out of the way and let you build what you can afford on your land.
Okay, I have to be the cop here. I didn't read you guys the rules because I thought everyone was here for the first one, but the rules are we can't clap or anything because this is the League of Women Voters, and so we are all trying to maintain neutrality. So even if you are so passionate about it, please just hold it in and tell him later how awesome it is that he believes that. Okay, I'm sorry to put the damper on, but that's how we're trying to run things here. All right, so next up on that question is Kevin Kahikina.
I don't know how I'll come up with a better answer than that.
All right, then we have Brianna.
Yeah, the county has a financial empowerment center that's administered by the Office of Housing. And I think that it's a great thing. I think we need to be putting more attention into these programs. Our nonprofit, we go and we teach everything that you can think of. Free CPR, resume building, financial empowerment, how to change a tire, how to do your taxes, how to get a GE license, all these tools. And these are the same workshops that can be offered for free through the county to give our residents the tools and resources that they need so that they can thrive in these struggling conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. And then finally, Mitchell.
Yeah, so getting back to affordable housing, as one of the things, if there's no affordable housing, people can't live. And so we've really been focused in on this. We've been bringing people together to make sure that those affordable housing units are available. Things like that's above Costco. They'll rent out for a family of 4 earning under 60,000 between 500 and I think 1,400 now is what I'm looking at. The other thing is we need to make sure that we have the jobs of the future so that we can make sure that people can afford to live.
Thank you. And then back to Kevin Kakina. This question is regarding leadership. You have 60 seconds on this one. When others disagree with you, how do you handle it? Give an example.
Well, we gotta find the middle. Everybody gotta talk together. If not, nothing's gonna be solved. If everybody fights from different sides, how are we supposed to solve a problem? So all this whole thing is about unity. We gotta get unity between everybody and all in the community. If not, we can't solve nothing. We just go around in one circle, and everybody get blamed for something they did not do.
All right, thank you. Next is Kobayashi, yeah. The question is, when others disagree with you, how do you handle it? Give an example.
You know, it goes back to integrity. You stick to your values, you stick to what's pono, and you can never go wrong if you do that. You know, there's doing what's right and there's doing what's righteous. And you have to be pono in everything that we do, and we're always gonna have disagreements, but getting everybody in a room and saying, hey, we're all here now, but what does the future like 4 generations from now? And I think we can all come to agreement to say, what does that pono future look like? And we have to start there.
Thank you. And Mitra?
Yeah, I think you have to start off with a compass that has you facing in the right direction. So I have lots of times where people disagree, and sometimes I change, sometimes I don't. A really good example, I know Kimo just talked about the unions. Big part of why the unions didn't go with me is hazard pay. I knew I probably could have given hazard pay for what they're asking and probably had their endorsement. But I have a fiduciary duty to all of you to make sure that we're spending the money in the right way.
Thank you. And then down to Kimo Juanita.
So just to clear that union comment up. So the unions, I didn't do much to get their support except what this current administration didn't do. So they're supporting our administration because of the vacancies and the amount of grievances is beyond any other administration. That's why they're endorsing the Alameda administration. So let me tell you, when it comes to communication, I'm a psychologist, right? So my job is to help people resolve differences. So war is the lowest form of communication, right? And then it's basically, well, if you come to my workshops, I can break it down.
We will figure that out later. Okay, so next question. Oh, you keep the mic. You get 60 seconds on this next one.
Oh, I can use half of that? No.
No. I mean, you'll want it for this one because This one is about Pololu. What can we do to save Pololu from any kind of development?
Yeah, so again, every community is different, right? So just like the TMT question, I was asked that, the question in Ka'u, so for, Kohala, it's Pololu, right? So there's the community, they are afraid of development. I don't blame them, right? There's certain places on the Big Island that was earmarked for development 30, 40 years ago. Kohala Coast, Waikoloa, a little bit Kona, right? But Kohala, in town Kohala, here, that wasn't originally, Pololu wasn't marked for development. So you just need to listen to the voice of the people. And what they're telling you is they want to keep that area sacred. And so I'm in line with the people, just like with Punaluu, just like with Waipio. And until there's an overwhelming consensus that the community feels it should divert to, then I'm all ears. But until then, let's keep Pololu. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next to Kahikina. Kevin?
I spent some time down there today at Pololu. So, there should never be any development down there, not even thought of. Pololu should be saved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brianni Kobayashi.
Yeah, this goes back to me talking where I went over on the pond question. Really going back to those public spaces, those natural resources, to making sure that we're advocating for those spaces. Hawaii Island residents can advocate and claim these spaces that we should preserve before February 1st every year. So this is something that we can do to conserve and preserve our efforts. I went yesterday to North Kohala Resource Center, which is just such a great model. And keeping Kohala is very important. And if that means certain places we're not developing, we need to listen and hear and listen to understand the community and respect that.
Thank you. Mitra.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues. One, I think we have to keep it to the public, so if that's a punk. But right now it's owned by state, and there's parts by county, and they're talking about parking and things like that. And so I think we need to come up with a good plan. I think the plan that they came up with in Kauai is a good plan, possibly having a permitting system for people who are not from here to reduce the number of people who are going down there, because we have to protect our natural environments. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next goes down to Kim Alameda for 60 seconds on this question. Oh, sure. Did you think, I'm sorry, I missed you?
No, it's just his turn.
I'm sorry, I'm not keeping track. So who missed the last question?
You got the last question.
Just ask the question.
Oh, all I'm doing, this thing is such a mess because of 3 people not showing that I'm sorry if it's really not logical at all. So, Kevin Kaikina, would you like to go? 60 seconds on this one? Okay, here we go. This is regarding transparency. How would you make the county administration more transparent and accessible to the public? How?
We gotta audit the county. We audit the county, everything will become all transparent. And that's the only thing we gotta do.
Okay, that was 60 seconds of good. Right. Next on my list, so we are going down from Calvin, we'll go to Kobayashi next. How would you make more transparent government?
Yeah, what I would do is I would put on the website, our county website, and we'd have everything by districts, and you can see all the current projects happening, all of the different things that we should be doing, our CERT teams, emergency response, mitigation, disaster, all of the things by each district, and everybody can go there and have access to it. If we have all these great things, which we do, but they're not accessible, then they're useless to people. So they need to be accessible. I think also it might be information that the public doesn't necessarily want to hear, but it's important that we share those things, even if it's disappointing, so that we're honest. And the county website can be a portal of that.
Okay, great. Down to Mitra.
So actually, most of this stuff is on the county website. We've started making a lot more databases, so like talking about the housing, that's on there. One of the things that we've tried to do is we've tried to increase communication, so we've added several PIOs, people who give the information to different departments. We just put one in civil defense, we have one new one in Parks and Rec, and so we're trying to get more and more of those people out there to help get the word out of what we are doing.
Yeah, let me just talk a little bit about the PIO. So that's like a communication person for every department. So there's 20 departments, right? And the director, to me, should be the voice of the department. You shouldn't have to hire another communication person. It's just making government unnecessary big. Because if you cannot articulate what's happening in your department, maybe you shouldn't have been a director, number one. Number two, the media gotta have open access to government. Media is the 4th branch of government, okay? When you get the media open access to government, they're gonna communicate what needs to be communicated. So that's the second thing. The third thing is we need open budgets. Okay, Kauai has a program that is an open budget so you guys can see where the money's being spent. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Riani, let's just start. You guys have a great idea. Whoever's next down the line will get the 60 seconds. Yeah, all right. So next question we have is emergency access. Kohala has only a single road through the area with no alternative when it is blocked, as it has been about 6 times in the past few years. Pratt Road is a private road running parallel to the highway and has several impassable stretches due to lack of maintenance. What would you do to get the county to maintain it?
Yeah, we have to be putting funding and resources into our infrastructure, and I know that it's expensive, and I know that there are different impacts. So we have to be partnering with the state. We have to be working actively with DOT, and we have to actively be working with the community to communicate what's happening, to explain what's going on, and to get the community's feedback. Because a lot of times, what we think is a good idea for community isn't necessarily what the community thinks is good for the community. So really getting everybody in a charrette-style discussion to say, hey, let's all talk about these things and move that forward. I think Kohala like is similar to Kilkaw, where I am, where it's a one-way in, one-way out. We're in an inundation zone, so the community relies a lot on each other. If there's ever anything that happens, you have to rely on each other. So I know that there's the CERT team here, and that you guys just had a training last week with 8 people. That's great. That's not how every community is. Not everyone has that. So making sure you guys have the resources, the tools, the information, so that when disaster hits, you know what to do. But I would definitely be advocating for better infrastructure and partnering with whoever we have to make that happen.
Thank you. Okay, Mitch Roth with 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it's interesting, the Pratt Road issue has not been brought up to us, but there is some possibilities for something like condemnation or working with the community to extend the road. However, we wouldn't do that unless we actually sat down with the community and actually looked at all the different opportunities to get out. So that's what I'd say.
Okay, thank you. And then down to Kimo Almeida.
Thank you. Yeah, I would seriously explore extending the road, but you know, when I see positives, I give positives too. So I just want to give a shout out to the county Parks and Recreation folks. I think they're doing a good job. Shout out to the roads folks. I think the county's doing a good job there too. So, but of course we can always do better. And so when it comes to disaster preparedness, I mean, everything what Bree said on the CERT team, but also we got Red Cross, we got the VOAD, which is Volunteers Organizations Active in Disaster. Because I helped with the Kupuna in the disasters in Hilo, so I know civil defense. You need somebody to coordinate all of that, or else it's just going to be chaos. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You get 30 seconds?
No, next question.
Did you do the?
We just gotta fix the infrastructure. You know, infrastructure, if it's not good, you can't do nothing. Everything is falling apart, can't get out of your towns, nothing get in. And more people moving in, so you gotta rebuild the infrastructure and more people moving in because there's no space for anything. So we just gotta watch what's moving in and rebuild our infrastructures.
Okay, thank you. And then Mitch Roth, 60 seconds on this one. This one is on cesspools. Half of Hawaii's cesspools are on the Big Island, some 49,300. By law, cesspools must be upgraded to septic systems by 2050. What can be done to help people who may not be able to afford the conversion?
Yeah, so we've actually been taking this issue on, and we've hired a consultant to start looking at what are the possibilities. Whatever decisions that we're gonna make with the community. And so we've recently had some meetings out here with the community to discuss what happens in Kohala, because what happens in Kohala is a lot different than what happens in Puna or Ka'u or other places. So we've given the different options for the community to look at. We have a couple more meetings coming up where we're gonna discuss different possibilities. We have been looking for federal grants. We get some federal grants, but the cost of this is staggering. Billions and billions of dollars just for Puna to hook up the wastewater is between $4 and $14 billion. That's a lot of money. And then we have to go through the whole island. You know, it'd be nice if the legislature were to look at some changes, and we talk about some of those, but it's a very difficult situation, but we're trying to do it with the community.
Thank you. And down to Kimo Almeida.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of federal mandates without federal funding. So I would be fighting back real strong against the federal government on that. And I wouldn't have mandated the whole island because, you know, my dad's a plumber. I come from a blue collar family, right? Brother's an electrician. So, hey, my dad tells me, Kimo, you know what the cesspools on Mauka side? They get natural filtration. So I'm waiting for a scientist to tell me how is that not possible. Now, on the coastal areas, true story, okay? Cesspool, you flush the toilet, it goes into the ocean. So, like, you gotta protect that. But as we go up, you don't gotta mandate the whole island, number one. Number two, by 2050, we should have new technologies that doesn't require septic. Thank you.
Kevin Kahikina?
Again, it comes to infrastructure. Our infrastructure can't handle all that shit going through the pipes. So, cesspools, good cesspools.
Yeah, true that. Oh, yeah. I don't think it's a federal ban, it's a state ban. But this state ban, we need to be providing financial assistance and grants and loans to people. We cannot expect people to afford $20,000, $25,000 to convert. And if by 2050 we're supposed to be doing that based on the amount of wastewater installers we have in the state, we'd have to be doing one every 5 days, which is not possible. So first we need to be providing financial assistance. Our research and development department can be helping getting low interest loans to homeowners to help covering the cost, but also tax credits for those who from the priority level need to be doing it, encouraging them to do that as fast as they can by offering them credits. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So for the 60-second, now we get Kima Almeida. This one's regarding sustainability and resilience. Like many small communities in the county, Kohala risks disruption in food, medical supplies, and other goods. What would be one step you would take to ensure the resilience and sustainability of our communities? And you get 60 seconds.
60 seconds, one step. I would support the resiliency hubs nationwide, but also on this island. We took that from national best practices. So there's a resiliency hub here in Kohala. I think we gotta expand it. I think we have to support it, continue to support it, and know that, yeah, I mean, it's tough. In times of disaster, you're gonna be looking for supplies, right? And so the resiliency hubs is where you should go to have those supplies and those needs met. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Kahikina.
I'll pass on this one.
Okay. Brianni Kobayashi.
Yeah, when COVID happened, I was the fiscal sponsor for Vibrant Hawaii, and we were the one who did all the resilience hubs. We did it right here in Kohala, and we offered school supplies, kids programs, things that the adults needed. I mean, you guys would know because this was the hub, and we are providing 200 to 500 meals a week for people as well. And those types of initiatives are really important to make communities more resilient, but we need to be giving them the tools. And we did that. We did it across the whole island, and we did it for 2 years, and we did it without taking any admin funding, which shows that communities are willing to be resilient if they have the tools to do that together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mitch Rock.
Yeah, so when it comes to sustainability, what we have done is we've thrown 3 different sustainability summits every year. Our first one had about 30,000 people that have viewed the summit, and we came up with a whole bunch of ideas. We started implementing those ideas. They talk about resiliency hubs, we did feeding. There's a whole bunch of things that we did as far as food, including looking out for grants for farmers to help them make sure that they can survive in the future.
Thank you. Okay, next one, Kimo Kobayashi will be, Kevin Kobayashi. Wrong name, sorry. I'm a little distracted. Sorry. But this is a big question on economic sustainability. How would you address the issue of economic sustainability on the island? If tourism should not be the principal industry, what alternatives would you suggest? And you have 60 seconds.
I suggest sustainable farming. If we bring back farming to Hawaii, it would be real sustainable. Especially we can import out and make money for Hawaii. So we should push for our farmers, so we can be sustainable. That's the only way we can be sustainable, if we start farming. Any kind of farming, cattle farming, vegetable, fruit farming, all of that kind of farming.
Okay, Brianna Kobayashi.
Yeah, we need to diversify the economy, so we can't keep relying on reliance of a single industry such as tourism to bring in all these fundings. And we start by doing that by supporting our small businesses. We encourage entrepreneurship. We give them the tools and resources so that our keiki really can stay here and live here and thrive here. Another opportunity is to make sure that we're ensuring economic growth, social equity amongst everyone so that everyone has an opportunity. These are things that we can do. These are things that are possible, but we need to start now. We needed to start years ago, but these things need to happen. Otherwise, we will be dependent on one industry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have to look to the future and where our kids want to go. And a lot of those jobs they want are in the STEAM industry, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We started by taking the leading role in the broadband infrastructure, making sure that there's broadband connectivity around the island so our kids have those jobs where they work here or they're working for someplace on the mainland. We need to also look at some of those STEAM jobs, energy, making sure that we have affordable energy and other than just solar and gasoline.
Thank you. Kima Almeida.
How much time?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay, right off the bat, we got 300 plus vacancies in the county. So you want jobs? If the county was a better, more connected to their employees, you would have more jobs right off the bat. Secondly, we gotta diversify, right? We get 10 or 14 climates right here. So alternative energy, we should be the mecca of alternative energy. And then third, construction. Okay, I don't know, not all my kids go into STEM, right? I get kids that go into farming, they're going to ranching, they're going to fishing. I get the kind of kids that go into construction. Construction is the genesis for infrastructure. You support the construction
you.
industry, you'll have infrastructure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then does Priyani Kobayashi for the 60 seconds on this next question on climate change. What is the first thing Hawaii County should do to anticipate climate change rather than just react to it?
Yeah, well, we cannot be continuing to drive 600 miles a day from Hilo to Kona and doing trash that way. And if we keep doing the things the same way, which we've been doing, it's not working. And I'm really passionate about this because I really feel that we need to start looking at other opportunities, exploring partnerships, private-public partnerships, so that we can really tackle this issue together. I know that there's wastewater issues, solid waste issues, all of these things which all come under the Department of Environmental Management. We need to be doing a better job at Department of Environmental Management. We need to be advocating for these things. Also another thing that we would do is be focusing on regenerative energy, regenerative waste. There are ways to do those things. We can explore those things together. Thank you.
Mitch Roth, 30 seconds.
Can you read the question one more time? Sorry.
Sure. What is the first thing Hawaii County should do to anticipate climate change rather than just react to it?
So one of the things that we just did about last year is we had a climate action plan that we put together. And so we now have that action plan. It is stood up. We also have the Office of Sustainability and Climate Enrichment, Oscar, that's not the thing. So we're working on that. We're also working on regenerative energy to make sure that we're not just burning oils and putting stuff out into our atmosphere.
And Kima Alameda, thank you.
Yeah, so the county got to be an expert on climate change, right? So civil defense got to up the ante on the expertise because climate change had caused a lot of issues. One, sea level rise. Okay, that's an issue. 2, droughts. 3, wildfires. 4, heat exhaustion. Okay, so climate change had created a whole different set of criteria for experts to pay attention to, and I would up the ante our civil defense so we're super smart around the impacts of climate change so that we can address it as a natural disaster. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kevin, Kahikina?
I have no answer for that. They all have good answers.
Okay. All right, we have come to the end of the questions section, and now we have time for closing statements. And you all did a raffle on the order. So the order of the closing statements will be Kevin Kahikina, Brianna Kobayashi, Kim Alameda, Mitch Roth, and you each get 2 minutes. So, Kevin Kahikina, 2 minutes,
I
closing.
wasn't ready for this part.
Yeah.
It's your guys' choice. You guys vote. So it's up to you guys what it is. And if you pick me, I work for you guys.
Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, so we didn't get to introduce ourselves, so in fact we didn't. Aloha, my name is Brianna Kobayashi. I'm born in Hilo. I actually went to school in Waimea at HPA. I graduated, I got a scholarship from Senator Akaka. When I was there, I went to meet President Barack Obama at the White House, came back. I really was interested in politics, but I ended up going to college in Colorado, and I got my master's in business. I came home, I opened a store with my mother 13 years ago, the Keaukaha General Store. We're the only community store. It's the second largest Hawaiian homestead in the state, so it's a very special place. And then I'm the general manager at the former Hilo Seaside Hotel. It's now called SCP, but we are the only hotel in the state that does not generate waste. We are zero waste initiative. We do not contribute to, the problems. Every time someone stays with us, we actually remove physically 2.2 pounds of trash with Hawaii Wildlife Fund. So that's really important to me. And I'm the president of Hawaii Rise Foundation, as we mentioned, which addresses everything that we need, whatever we need, from keiki to kupuna. All workshops are free. It was inspired by a kid that I caught stealing at my store. I helped him make a resume, and I started to do free workshops in the community, and I've done them ever since. When COVID happened, I was really proud of getting together 36 different local farmers from all over the island and creating these great food kupuna boxes that we were able to distribute for free for 2 years during COVID and keep our local farmers afloat. So my expertise is not in politics, and it's not in government bureaucracy. It's in leadership, it's in business, it's in economic development, it's in hospitality, and it's in community service. So that's where my heart is. I look here tonight and I think this is a perfect example of what community is, being here at this hub, listening to the hula right outside, seeing a variety of people, keiki, kupuna, farmers, cowboys, everybody here together to say that you care so much about your community. So mahalo for your time, mahalo for your aloha, and your vote matters, your voice matters, and you really do matter. So get out there and vote. Mahalo for this opportunity.
Thank you. And this actually goes to Kima Almeida now.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. First, big round of applause for our awesome candidates. At least we get some options. And I gotta tell you, if we didn't think, if I asked you guys the question, hey, government from 2020, is it getting better or worse? I'm not gonna ask that, but they did a study and close to 90% said that it's getting worse. So if we thought it was getting better, we wouldn't be running right now. Okay, so we are in need of an adjustment. Okay, and the reason I got the 3 endorsements of the 4 county workers is the county workers not feeling the love. They're not feeling empowered. And they asking you folks for a change in leadership, right? So I know the current administration is saying, hey, no change leadership, the directors, it's gonna be hard, they're gonna have to start from scratch. Our administration will not stop any project that is going forward and it's awesome for the community, right? We're not gonna end any partnerships that are already going strong, right? In fact, we'll enhance it. And if there's a program that's dying, we'll resurrect it. Okay, because I'm a community guy. I remember coming to Kohala when I was a kid playing basketball. We lost every game, but that's okay. Okay, but I gotta tell you, this place is special. You guys live in one special Vahipana, right? And you want to protect that. Your interactions, how you guys talk story, how you guys interact and get along, that's sacred to me. And our administration will fight for you. Right? Because your voice gotta matter, okay? And so hey, I'm in it to win it. I've been under the Kenoi administration. I've been under the Harry Kim administration. I take the best of both leaders. I understand government. I worked in the public sector, the private sector. I can bring all of that experience and serve you on day one. I need no job training, okay? I can hit the ground running, and that's what you guys need right now. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Aloha!
Thank you. And then down to Mitch Roth.
Aloha. First, thank you so much for putting on this forum, and thank you all for taking your time to come down here. When I was growing up, my mom always told me to leave things better than the way you found it. And I can tell you, this county is in much better shape than the way we found it. If you look at, where we are as our budget's in better place. If you look at what we're doing in projects, we're doing much better. In this area alone, we probably have got more punk lands than any place else. But our punk lands, those lands that we put aside for the community, we've done more of that than any other administration in a 4-year period of time. If we look at the money that we put to our parks, and I gotta tell you, there was a thing that came out, Kamehameha Park is coming right down the street. This year in their budget has more projects than just about any place else. So we got lighting projects, we got gym projects, we got gym hardening projects. Those things have been funded. Kima just talked about the amount of people working for government and the lack of people and that. If you look at every hotel down this coast, every hotel could take at least 100 people tomorrow. It's not something that government alone is facing. It is a problem that we've been facing island-wide, statewide, and countrywide. The big issue for us here is affordable housing. If you talk about progress from 1,243 to 8,175, that's substantial progress. If you talk about the roads and things like that, we've doubled the amount of roads that we've done. Just about every department, we've seen successes. I may not be the best looking up here, I may not be the best orator, the best used car salesman, but when it comes to experience, knowledge, people who've actually done positive change, I am the best candidate. And when you make changes and you're moving forward, it makes things really difficult. Just getting new directors could take these guys months. Getting them trained will take months, and that will cease a lot of the positive things that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all. Let's give our candidates a round of applause. Thank you. The audience. I also want to make sure we thank the League of Women Voters again who put this on. And Sustainable Kohala, who also is a sponsor. And of course, the Kohala Resilience Hub, who has comped us this room tonight very generously. And if you'd like to see more community events in this beautiful space, please support. And you can send a donation through the North Kohala Community Resource Center in support of the Resilience Hub. So with that, I will just let you know, we are around for until 6:45. We have this room. We're going to have the candidates in the back for meet and greet. You can talk to them there. And then we also want to remind you that if you can learn more about the candidates at vote411.org, I think? Org. Okay, org. 411.org. And that's where you can learn a lot more. So thank you again so much for all of your kokua tonight. Mahalo. Have a good evening.